Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, I am Poison Ivy, so if you guys want to see how I got this look, go ahead and stay tuned. And I'm also going to be telling you guys some scary stories that I found on the internet, just so it's not just me doing my makeup and it's kind of boring. If you guys don't know who Poison Ivy is, she is a character from a superhero movie. I don't know, but she's from Batman. And the only time I've actually seen anything from Poison Ivy is from a show, actually a movie that came out maybe in the 90s. It's called, I don't know what it's called actually, but I remember I used to watch it when I was little, and it has like Batman, Robin, and then Poison Ivy, and then it shows you like the story of what happened to Poison Ivy. That's the only time or reference I've ever had. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by doing my eyebrows. I still have the James Charles palette. I don't really use it unless I'm doing like crazy makeup tutorials or something like that. Anyways, so I'm using the red in the James Charles palette to fill in my eyebrows. So a little bit of what I remember from Poison Ivy, from this Batman movie that I saw, was that she was a villain, and I think she was a scientist, or she worked for a scientist, and she got thrown into these like chemicals with like a bunch of flowers or whatever. She pretty much was left there to, and that's how she became a villain. And her superpower, or yeah, I guess it is a superpower, is that she, I think, can talk to plants. And obviously we all know Poison Ivy is poisonous, so she's able to control men or people, I think mostly men. So she's able to control men, and then like if she kisses them, I think she like kills them, because her lips are poisonous. Death came for him. I was standing in my parents' room talking to my very sick dad at the time. He was dying of stage 4 cancer. I got the feeling something was behind him. I looked towards the doorway, and something about 4'6" and fully black is peeking around the corner with his hands on the doorframe. I run towards it, and it slipped back around the door. When I got outside the doorway, there was nothing. My dad was completely confused when I stepped back inside, and I told him. People who stayed at the house in my dad's final days claimed to have seen it. My mom saw the figure on multiple occasions in multiple places until he passed away. We haven't seen it since. Okay, and I am so sorry for the light change. I feel like since I have like these black curtains, it's like messing with my light. I'm gonna be using these two shades, and I want to do more like a cut crease. So I'm gonna do this green to kind of help blend everything, and then I'm gonna do this darker green to kind of define the crease. And then I'm just gonna use a little bit of white just to kind of set my foundation or concealer, whatever you use. I use foundation. Okay, and then I'm gonna use a blending brush, and I'm gonna use that lighter green to help blend and give me like a nice transition. My mother attracted evil. After my parents divorced when I was a teenager, I lived with my mother. I experienced a lot of paranormal happenings. Several times when I was reading in my bed, the room would start to feel really icy. Next, it would feel as if something or somebody that hated me was staring at me. When I got that feeling, I would leave the room and come back an hour later. Sometimes during the day, I would see a shadow figure sneaking along my bedroom walls. Something in the flat was pretending to be my dog. I went into my room and heard a deep growl from under the bed. My dog was incapable of making a noise that deep. It sounded like either a really big dog or a man doing his best dog impersonation. Other times, my dog would whimper and pace in the room next to mine, but wouldn't come when called, as if he was afraid of something in the hallway. When I moved in with my father, the paranormal activity stopped. The unrest stopped. I was driving across country with my mom and sister when I was 16, and my sister was 20. It was late, but we were all rested and still alert. We were driving along an interstate and needed gas in a break room, so we stopped at the only rest stop in 200 miles. There was a van full of teenagers on a road trip at the gas station, as well as a small gray car parked at the pump in front of us, with 2 young men standing still outside of it. When we got there, everything felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night and had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I heard the teenagers say they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us, and the 2 men had not moved at all, not an inch. They weren't talking, they weren't on their phones, they were just standing there, still as stone. My sister and mom came running back to the car when we got there. The 2 men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. And I swear to fucking shit, we saw the same thing. They had eyes dark as pitch and empty. Truly empty. Not black. Not reflecting any light at all. Just a void. We sped out of there and didn't stop until we were at the next city. The worst thing about the entire experience, we couldn't find the place in any map. We knew exactly which stop on the interstate to look, and we couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper maps we had. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station out on the stretch of the road and only got confused looks. We've traveled on the interstate since, and there is no rest stop. Okay, so I'm gonna now do a winged, but I'm gonna use red. So I'm gonna first go in with this pencil and just line my eyelashes, and then I'm gonna go in again with the red eyeshadow and make it a little bit more intense. My eyes are semi-done. Before I put on my eyelashes, I just want to clean up my face a bit. I have these makeup wipes. They're just like mostly for your eyes. That's why they're really tiny. Now we're just gonna do our face. This part you can pretty much just do however you usually do your face. I'm gonna use this foundation. I got it a while ago. Do I love it? Not really, but for these makeup, like Halloween makeup, I'd rather use this makeup than like my everyday makeup. That way I'm not wasting it. At least that's how I see it. It came for us in the graveyard. We were driving my friend's really old beat-up car through a massive graveyard. We stopped and walked down a hill and came across a little pond. There was someone sitting on a rock on the other side of the pond. The figure was all black, and we couldn't make out any features other than the fact that it looked like a man who was wearing some old-style top hat. We stupidly waved and shouted, "Hi!" It didn't show any acknowledgement and continued sitting on the rock. All of a sudden, he jumped to his feet, started running towards us on the water, and then vanished in thin water, about halfway down the pond. My friends and I screamed and ran back to the car. The car wouldn't start, and we heard something banging on the back of the car. It wasn't a constant bang, but every few seconds or so we hear it. Nobody was outside from what we can tell in the dark, but something was making a noise on the car. I opened my phone and started dialing my mom to come and give us a boost, but I had no service. None of us had any cell service. The next 30 minutes were spent trying to get his car started. No banging was heard afterwards, but we felt this heavy pressure around us. Finally, the car started, and she hit the pedal to the metal. We sped off the graveyard so fast, immediately crossing the gates, our phones regained cell service. One thing I know for certain is that someone or something was out there, and it was not an animal or human. Okay, so this is pretty much the look. I just stuck some more leaves on my hands and on my hair, and then I kind of stuck some on my dress. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you guys did, don't forget to give it a like and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.